The United States of America. Oh, wait, I got a little bit confused there, my bad. The United States of America, a nation that is unanimous with freedom, liberty, and McDonald's. Mostly McDonald's. 1836, United States of America is a different story, however, as it is on the precipice of change. The path it historically took is very different than what could have been, which is why today we're going to be answering, what if the Confederate States won the Civil War? As you are very well aware, the US is one of the most powerful nations in Victoria 3, having access to a variety of resources within its states and the fastest growing population from, quite simply, migrants coming to the New World, escaping the various wars that will happen in the Old World, trying to look for a better place. What better place to go except the southern parts of the United States? That's right. We have some special set of skills that we'll be using to reap economic majesticity. I don't know what that word is, but it sounds fancy, and it's probably invented by me, isn't it? That's not a real word, is it? Before we do anything else, guys, if we get 5,000 likes on this video, I'm gonna do a unique Mexican campaign where we form the rarest nation most people don't even know exist. And hey, if we get 220,000 subs by the end of the month, I plan on releasing my editor from the basement for about 5 minutes. So, hey, it's your choice. Do you want him to smell some fresh air? You don't? That's fine. I'm okay with it. It's not me. Hey, you're the only one that can make this happen. That's all I'm saying. Now, a majority of our economy relies in 2 states at the start of the campaign, namely Pennsylvania and New York. And this is also one of the reasons why seceding as the South is extremely difficult, because the rest of the country is where most of the population is, where most of the industry is. And realistically, there's 2 options. You can either secede later in the campaign, after you've basically built up everything in the South, or you can do the hard way, which is also the more fun way in my opinion, and secede immediately. That means that we're going to be doing right now banning of slavery, which will trigger the Civil War. And aside from that, we'll do a bit of a standard research, I guess, where you can go for water, 2 boilers. Gonna merge up all of our troops here, and we will be disbanding the units that are not in the South. So that means all of these Yankee boys have to go. Keep only these juicy Dixie men, and the exact same goes for the ships. If the ships are based in the North, we will be disbanding. Now, until the Civil War happens, we can, of course, just recruit some units in the South. So we're going to queue up pretty much only barracks right now. If we're able to get 10 regular soldiers before the war begins, that would actually be a great success in my book. And I'm going to do some greener grass campaign decrees in the southern states, because we do need as much population as possible. Population is mostly condensed in the northern states, unfortunately. To make my life a little bit easier too, I'm going to be decreasing relations with all the Europeans, expelling diplomats to get a bit of infamy in the process too, to piss off everybody basically. And I'm going to make everybody that I can make a rival too. That's right, we're giving ourselves all the fighting chance we possibly can get. And I'm also going to be liberating all of my subjects, namely the Indian Territory and Liberia shall once more be free. If I want to make my life a little bit easier, I could also just stop some of these colonies from growing by canceling the colonies outright. So roughly half of the American states will become the Confederate States, and the other half will stay as the US. The Native Americans have a little bit of a reprieve here with the cancellation of the colonies, meaning it's gonna be freedom for them for a little bit longer. And unfortunately, Texas did get fully annexed by the Mexicans, so we're gonna have to liberate them, of course, from the vile Mexicans as the Confederates. The South has declared secession from the United States. A house divided against itself cannot stand. No, of course it can't stand. We would rather fight for the cause of the individual states, because that's totally what this is about, clearly. Now we do start with 8 soldiers, so it's pretty bad. Let's see how many conscripts we can get. We're gonna start raising these conscripts, and we're gonna start redoing our economy here, because we seem to be lacking a lot of things. I feel like majority of our economy is definitely in the north. Look at that. We're not even producing any fish, any paper, any tools, a lot of things. Okay, this might actually collapse our economy if we don't fix it, so let's see what exactly we're gonna have to queue up ASAP here. We'll rely on imports for the time being for a lot of things, but we cannot rely on imports forever, let's face it. We do need to get a domestic production of everything. I am pretty much importing everything I need from the British, so if the British embargo me for whatever reason, this run is over. All right, we do need to start with some construction sectors, so let's out-click 5 construction sectors for now. Oh no, only 4.5 million GDP. That is so little, man. That's like literally nothing. Oh, looks like we also need to redo our decrees, so let's get again greener grass campaign everywhere. Population is absolutely essential for our growth, and 1 consumption tax on tobacco should be enough for now. I do hate the fact that if we win the war, all that happens is the US revokes the claims they have on us, and if they win, we get annexed. That doesn't really seem fair, does it? I'm not even sure what to build first. There's so many basic things that we're lacking, like even glass, we don't have any. I'm gonna build one in Missouri here because we already have 1 lead mine, so we can use the lead from here in production of glass. But actually, we need tools more than anything. I just realized we don't have any tools production, so let's get some tooling workshops going in Virginia, and then we're gonna need some steel mills in Virginia to use in those tooling workshops. Oh my god, dude, this is actually brutal right now. Oh, we also need bureaucracy. We don't have any bureaucracy. Oh god. And it's time for the Great War, the Great North American War for that matter. Let's make sure we give our boys the idea of we want to take everything they have ASAP so we can actually finish this war quick, get the truce going, and in 5 years we can just take out what's left of the United States that's still independent. Independence, freedom, liberty for all. The US has capitulated and renounced their claims on the Confederate States of America. Far too long have the Northerners ruled with an iron thumb over us. Now we have independence, so we can actually do whatever we want, including the colonization of the Midwest. That is 100% on our list. We're gonna get a few extra declared interests here because we also want to start importing things from maybe the South Americans. We obviously wouldn't be a Confederate States without the CIA enacted, the secret police enacted, and it would appear like one of our major shortage is fertilizer. We don't have any fertilizer, so we're gonna need to get a fertilizer plant. I believe Louisiana has sulfur, so we can get it here, as it will eventually be using sulfur from the sulfur mines of Louisiana. We have 300,000 pops, so it should be enough. Actually, even Florida might not be a bad idea since we also have sulfur here, I guess. Confederate States of America gets King of Cotton for 9 years. Gee, I wonder why. Is it because Confederate States had pretty much all of the cotton production? Probably yes. Seem to also be massively short of wood, so we're gonna need to get some of that bad boy in here too. I'm gonna redo my queue a little bit because it is pretty brutal what's happening right now. We need to properly scale up here. And actually, speaking of, we can also start with the conquest of the Indians. Remember those old Indians that broke away from the United States? Well, they told me, the people of the Indian Territory told me they want to be a part of me. We also can get some rivals, of course, the Americans, and maybe even some of the smaller nations in Europe like Sweden, and why not even Brazil and New Granada, because I can. I would love a trade agreement though, maybe with the British. They would actually give me one for obligations. I'm gonna go for that. Look at that. We went from -70 to +16 bureaucracy because of that trade agreement. The British are gonna be my #1 best friend, so I'm gonna start improving relations with them too. Much like historically, the British were kind of inclined to help the Confederates, but never actually did much anyway. And yes, I'm also attacking the Indian Territory before the Mexicans attacked them. That was literally the fastest war in existence, by the way. I just realized I was on wooden building production method, just switched over to iron frame. I can't believe I didn't see that for the past couple of years. I was wondering, how come we don't need that much iron? What is the reason for which we don't have many iron? Would be actually amazing if we could get Manifest Destiny as the Confederate States, but unfortunately that is not an option. I've been at peace for far too long. It's a whole year that I didn't attack anyone, so we've decided to take back the rightful American clay, and by American I mean Confederate clay. So that means all the western states from Mexico will be ours after this war. Plus, by getting all of these states, we prevent the Americans from eventually snaking their way into there after they unlawfully take our Indian lands too. Our economy is also slowly, and I mean real slowly, building up. I'm basically just trickling in more construction sectors as I can to improve my economy because, you know, there's not much to work with here. Only bad part about this war is our economy is going to take a little bit of a hit, so we're going to have to go on very high taxation for a while, at least until we get the war going and we basically win against them. That's obviously because we went overdrive and we recruited a lot of conscripts. I'm actually going to stop getting any more because we have enough as it is. In fact, I'm probably going to delete a couple of these conscript units. Confederate British League. That is actually really amazing to hear. I would love to get a good league going with the British because, like I said, they're going to be my bestest of friends, boys. I think I probably should set some war goal here in California so my units start marching towards that. This war is dragging on for a lot longer than I was expecting it to. I was genuinely thinking this is going to be like quick schnippity boo, schnippity bay. We take out the Mexicans, yo, Bobby hey. But no, the Mexicans are actually hanging in there, which is not good for my economy. And also, it looks like the Americans are getting their asses handed by the Great Sioux Nation. Bro, if I see the Sioux taking over American lands, that is genuinely going to be the funniest thing ever. They're winning against the Americans. What is happening here? You know what? I'm actually a little bit curious to know if there's any achievement for playing as the Confederate States. As Yankee or Dixie Nation, achieve maximum prosperity with the United Fruit Company. I mean, I guess we can count that in as a possible achievement. Sadly, no unique one for the Confederate States themselves. So, man, that's kind of a bit disappointing. Hopefully in future DLCs, they add something. That would be interesting. And there you have it, boys. Half of historical United States is now in the right state's hand, okay? It's the Confederate States. It's us. We're the good guys, clearly, because we're gonna be writing the books, eh? And of course, all of these are now, as you would imagine, slave states because we are what some would call a slaving nation. All right, that did increase our national revenue by quite a lot, so we're gonna take advantage of that and we're gonna expand our construction sectors a little bit more. We do have to be careful because we're only a major power. We are not a great power, so until we grow in prestige, we're taking some pretty significant loans when we have interest. So that's already, we're paying 3,000 in interest because of the credit that we've taken already from 1.4 million principal loan. That is really bad, actually. And let's see how much devastation we have as well. 65% devastation in the fringe states. Oof, that is not good. We will need some textile mills. I'm gonna queue up 3 of them for now. Problem is we really have a lot of things that we need to build, so I'm trying my best to prioritize whatever is a massive necessity, but genuinely everything is a massive necessity right now. Let's go with the explosives plan, and we're gonna need that motor industry to sustain our railways that we're gonna start building soon enough. You know what? Confederate Marines actually sounds like a pretty cool name for an army, if you ask me. And it looks like we also can get some more construction sectors. We get 3 more, let's say, in North Carolina. You know, everybody always asking, why is there a North Carolina and a South Carolina? But the real question actually is, why is there no East Carolina? Did you ever ask that? Bruce Cowhig, who's an Australian and is endorsing proportional. Okay, yeah, he's not really amazing, but we'll take him simply because of the prestige that he offers as well. You know what? I'm actually curious to see what our cultural map mode's looking like. You have predominantly Dixie in our country. Okay, like to see that. You have a lot of Apaches, Hokan, Paiute, so basically a lot of the Native Americans right now. Oh, we got gold in Nevada. Oh, actually, we should be able to get some gold mines not only in Nevada, but in California too, right? How many gold fields do we have? We have 5 gold fields here. Oh, I'm so excited for these to deplete. Now, surprisingly, we managed to get the Liberal Party in charge of our government with 50% legitimacy. That also changed our flag. And we've got freedom, equality, and brotherhood. Clearly the staples of the Confederate States. Yes, clearly. We do have a ton of support for the dedicated police force, so we're going to go for that. And I'm going to try and get level 3 for my institutions that you start with, which are not yet level 3. So that means we're going to need some more government administration buildings. And we need a lot more universities too, because we don't actually have any right now. So we're going to out-click 2 government administrations, and then we're also going to queue up 1 university in each of our states. For now, that should be enough. Let's see how our economy goes, and if it's fine, then we can get more. Also, we do need a couple more construction sectors. It's time for the next war against the United States. This time we're trying to take as much as we possibly can from the western parts of their country. That way we prevent them from colonizing, but we don't cancel the claims that they have, because if we did that, then the Canadians would start colonizing into the native lands, and we do not want that now, do we? We're gonna slowly start canceling their claims over in the south, colonize that first, and then work our way towards colonizing the north later down the line. Now, we did wait like we did previously with the Mexicans before we raised our conscripts, because if we did that beforehand, the Americans would just give up and we wouldn't be fighting them. Oh, the French would like to give me military assistance. Looks like the French are not the bestest of friends of the Americans, are they now? Now, I've got decently high enough relations that I can start my own power block without having too many issues, because remember, when you do form a power block, you lose relations with other great powers. Of course, we are merely a peaceful trading conglomerate, nothing else. Another 7 states have joined the Union, I mean the Confederacy. We're totally not the same thing, completely different, okay? Just pointing it out. Problem is, the majority of the industry is still in these 4 major states here: Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and New York. So hopefully in the next war, we're going to be able to take these 4 states. That would be actually the best outcome. Also going to start incorporating these states because they are absolutely vital to my economy, especially the resources in the north here. We have the sulfur mines, all the iron in the Michigan and Wisconsin areas, as well as apparently even in Minnesota we have iron and sulfur for that matter. You know what? I actually really enjoy this. Like, it's sort of a weird challenge for me right now, me trying to get myself back on track after pretty much completely destroying the US from the beginning, right? How fast can I catch up with a normal sized United States growing, basically, is what this game is all about, in my opinion. And yes, I'm not expanding outside of this North American continent, obviously. I'm gonna try and just keep the American borders, more or less, and see how much more we can get economically. What would the economic output of the Confederate States have been historically if they had actually won, which, let's face it, it was really not realistic. I know all those YouTube videos be like, yo, what if they won? Ha 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 ha. No, they had basically 0 to no chance. All of the industry, all of the manpower, all of the guns, everything was in the north, as well as they had basically little to no international support. So it was Jover before it even began, in my opinion. That's just my opinion, okay? But hey, if you feel like it was different, let me know in the comment section. Debate me. I actually like a good debate. But you look at that, we did get the CIA. It's Jover, boys. I'm gonna attempt to get laissez-faire. Fingers crossed. I'm not super sure I'll be able to. There's quite a little bit of opposition to it, so we might need to attempt this later down the line again. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Labor movement? Hold on a second here. What? Authoritarian ideology? Okay, all right. We're not going for laissez-faire. I was just kidding, guys. We're gonna go for free trade. There you go. That's what you guys really want all along, right? Come on. So far, nothing really interesting has happened in Europe, but I'm noticing that we have a brand new nation here, namely Limburg. This is because of the London conference. I guess that they went with the middle ground, which was basically make Limburg an actual entity and make them a subject of the Dutch. Not sure how the Dutch really feel about that, but I guess this is pretty much the closest to kind of historical borders we get out of the situation here in the Belgian lands. They also seem to have disease outbreak. Well, I would not like to beat them in that case. I'm sorry, what? Dixie mass migration. My own people are migrating to my lands from the US, apparently. From the District of Columbia? Did I see that right? No way. They had Dixies there? I think it's also time that we get at least 1 textile mill in each of our states, as well as 1 furniture manufacturer in all of our states too. And we can start building in the northern states, which actually have a lot more population than I was expecting them to have. I'm sorry, what? Nevada has 15 gold fields? That might be a little bit too many if you ask me, man. That's literally more than the Californians have, which have 7 right now, and I'm guessing they're gonna get even more eventually. Another day, another war with US, or what's left of the US really, but the reality is that they're actually doing pretty good despite having lost most of their country. They are now getting 23 regular units with 109 conscript battalions. So one of my fronts, I actually have a disadvantage, which means I actually have to reinforce this area. In this particular war, I only want to take Indiana, District of Columbia, because it's just annoying to have that little enclave over there, and I'm canceling the claims they have in the south here so I can finish colonizing New Mexico, Texas, and Arizona, with the next war being the one in which I take the economic heartlands of the US, because it's actually a lot of infamy. Taking these 3 states is close to 100 infamy, which is just wild. So we got the war goal, which is the District of Columbia and most of Indiana, so as long as we hold on to what we have right now, we should be able to win. A bit of a tough war, but once more, we are victorious because we outnumbered them about 9 to 1. With the US out of the way, I still have to take care of Mexico because they also have claims over all the lands we took from them. So yeah, I cannot colonize yet. I actually kind of forgot about that, so I'm gonna have to attack the Mexicans now. Whoa there, Mexico, calm down there, buddy. They literally want to take everything that we took from them previously. Okay, that is not gonna happen. Okay, bud, you need to calm down, because I feel like you think you're a little bit stronger than you really are. I mean, I'm just trying to revoke your claims. You trying to actually take lands from me? Who does that? Holy snakes, boys. We actually managed to get all the way into the Yucatan Peninsula, basically hugging the entire coastline of Mexico here. And we got a revolution in our country. Of course we do. Obviously, why would we ever have an easy time when we can have a revolution on two freaking fronts? Oh my god. I think I also might need to start privatizing my buildings, because I've got quite a little bit of loans, and privatizing is honestly the fastest way to just get rid of any sort of loans I might have. Also, hold up a second. We are officially a great puer, the sixth greatest puer in the world, overtaking the Spaniards and soon to be taking over the economy of the Prussians. The Confederate dream, it cannot be all that harmful, right? Right, guys? Gee, I really wonder what the Confederate dream might be. There we go. That takes the Mexicans out of the way too, so that means we can actually colonize the southern parts now, finally. I actually just thought about something. The worst case scenario for me right now would in fact be if I still am not able to colonize these areas because the Mexicans have claims. Okay, they don't have claims, luckily. I think they only had claims left on California and Nevada, which obviously I do not need to colonize anymore. So that means we basically got most of the central parts of the Midwest. So in the next war, I might actually just wipe out the US completely, or just keep them as an OPM so I can do the same trick and not let the Canadians colonize any of these parts. Holy mother of God, what happened? Our need for fish increased by 600. Okay, it seems to me like people in Pennsylvania really enjoy their fish. Let's go ahead and incorporate all of these newly conquered areas, and let's also make sure we have enough fish for everyone to go around. Now, Pennsylvania is by far the industrial heartland of the United States, or was, better yet, so we're gonna put all of these juicy buildings to good use now. We are incorporating them, so we're gonna need some more government administrations. Seems like our favorite general, Robert Lee, has mapped the Oregon Trail. That's not enough for me, okay? I need him to go back out there and map more of the West. We need to know everything. I'm gonna send Robert E. Lee again, because he seems like he knows what he's doing. The French apparently have completely wiped out Morocco. This is the most aggressive French empire I've seen in a lot of games, to be honest. I normally expect the Moroccans to get puppeted by someone, but no, the French flat out just wiped them out completely. And they were being extremely aggressive in Africa for that matter. Najd is for some reason pink. I'm not sure why that happened. As a monarchy, state religion, I really don't know why that happened, honestly. We can now also switch over to publicly traded for our financial districts, which should make a bit of a difference. Also, I've noticed that Chile a lot of the times decides to cuck on over the Argentinians. This is not even the first time in this particular patch where I've seen this. Not sure how I feel about this, honestly. I kind of like seeing Argentina get massive, not Chile. It just looks weird if Chile's the big boy in the south. And look at that, boys. For the first time in a really long while, we are actually gaining pounds. So I guess nothing new in the Confederate States, am I right? Get it? Because we're gaining pounds. It's probably not an appropriate joke, is it? Holy mother of gold fields. We just had 11 gold fields get depleted. So we're basically getting insane amounts of free money right now, boys. It just dawned on me. Is this actually the Confederate flag? This is not the Confederate flag, is it? This is like some weird alternative reality flag. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the one I'm thinking of is not the real Confederate flag, and this was the one all along that they had. And the other one's maybe like some particular unit of the Confederates that had it or something. I don't know. I do love, however, that having Pennsylvania is just so freaking amazing. My economy has quite literally started to skyrocket the second that I got Ohio and Pennsylvania. But imagine now with New York after. This also has how much? Let's see. It's got 3 million GDP just in this one state. That's literally half of the remaining GDP of the United States. And yes, I'm also canceling more of the claims here. I'm not canceling the claims on the border with the Canadians because I want to finish colonizing all of these areas so that I have more speed when I get the claims revoked so I can quickly colonize the rest of the states there. Oh, Ludi, you asked for war reparation. Why you so mean to them? Because I can, okay? That's why. Now, I just also remembered I kind of want to get level 4 the colonial affairs so I can really fast take over those lands that I want to colonize after. And also might as well finish upgrading home affairs and health system till max level 2. Let's go over here. Skibidi boo, skibidi bay. We got all of these lands. Yo, skipile now. So that's 4 states. Montana, North Dakota, Wyoming, and Minnesota that I'm going to have to be really fast with because I think, wait, what? Canada. Oh, Canada formed. Was it formed by Hudson Bay? It was not. They have no colonial affairs. Oh my god, I should have seen this. That means I can just wipe out the US and just colonize this without issues then, because they don't have the ability to colonize. Oh, dude, I should have paid attention. That is insane. That literally set me back a few years now. Populating the Americas. The Confederate States of America is a vast and fortunate land, though sparsely populated. So we get 25% migration attraction for every incorporated state that we have in Western America for the rest of the campaign. That is what I call winning. Now, where's my tiger blood? And we can also invite a group of people to come to our country. So now we can get some Swedish pops from Finland arrive in Virginia. I'm also trying to standardize my army a little bit more, so we're getting some more units. I want to have at least 20 infantry with 20 artillery in each of my armies right now. It should be enough. We don't have that many big enemies right now. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the Confederated Sovereigns of America, as we have indeed become a monarchy, a constitutional monarchy for that matter, with Auburn Scott, the market liberal leader of our beloved nation, being first of his name. And now, as you probably imagined, it is indeed time for us to attack what's left of the United States again. Honestly, it's more of a tradition than anything else for us at this point. So you guys remember how I said that I'm not worried about the Canadians colonizing stuff anymore after I wipe out the rest of the US? Well, guess what? Apparently the Canadians decided they need frontier colonization, and they actually sniped a big chunk of Montana as well as Wyoming from me. So I'm not happy with that, okay? I'll be honest, I'm really not happy with that. In fact, I'm actually assembling a little bit of an army right now because it's time we teach the Canadians a little bit of a valuable lesson into why you don't take American territory. Another unfortunate bit is the fact that our trade league hasn't seen much progress since we haven't had any members except the Mayans in it. So now we're gonna have to start expanding and adding more nations to the trade league itself. I had 98 infamy after I took the rest of the American states, so I've just been waiting for the infamy to go down more than anything else. I do need some extra nations. You know what? I'm attacking these guys. Screw it. I'm attacking Ecuador right now. We need to start getting more mandate ASAP. Now I'm gonna get some more ships as well, so I actually have a proper invasion force. All right, Peru, Bolivia joined their side. Chile joined too. Oh no, the Netherlands joined their side. Oh, okay. And what do you know, boys? We just researched trench warfare, which means it's gonna be a very, very fast war now. Let's also make sure we have the right mobilization supplements and supplies for our units. I love how most of my migrants are actually coming to Missouri, Illinois, not to the northern states, since I've obviously been focusing in the southern states, but I'm slowly turning that around. I started building a lot of steel mills in the north in Pennsylvania and New York, because we'll be switching over to steel production methods for all of our construction sectors. We only have 500 construction in 1886. We should have at least 1,000 in 1886. But truth is, I've actually been struggling as the Confederates. We surprisingly passed decent legislation. I mean, we even managed to get universal suffrage. We got proportional taxation now, compulsory primary education. But the problem is that our economy was actually lacking compared to what it would have been like if we stayed as the US, since our main focus was not on adding members to our power block and expanding our influence. Instead, it was just consolidating our own nation. Like, this is basically what we should have been looking like in 1846, 40 years earlier, right? But because we were a nation divided that had to be united, it posed some issues. The Dutch don't seem to be on board with us attacking Ecuador, and they're trying to prevent us, but we have torpedo boats, my lord. We don't have frigates like you do. I mean, who still has frigates in 1880? Come on, man. Grow up, Netherlands. Oh, 6,000 progress for the defense in depth. I am so taking that. And we also managed to do a successful naval landing because we have insane units compared to theirs. As long as we hold on to the Ecuadorian parts, we should be able to enforce our demands and finish this war. We don't really need to actually fight in Peru, Bolivia, or in the Netherlands for that matter, because we don't really have any war goals, and I doubt that they have any. Look at that, nothing. So we can accept the white piece from them. We already got Ecuador as our first subject, actually. And now in order to get mandate from Ecuador, we need to start building up in this nation, because right now they are an insignificant power. We need to increase their rank, which we do by increasing their prestige. The Great Northern War, and this really is a Great Northern War because we're fighting the Great British, so it has great in it. So clearly that's what this is all about, okay? Now, unfortunately for us, we actually went over 100 infamy. We were at 100 and something for a little while, but it fortunately went below 100 without any sort of coalition war triggering against us. But the sad part is that we could not get all the states from the Canadians. We still cannot take Canadian Montana. It would put us at like 104, so that would actually trigger a massive coalition most likely. I don't think I would be able to dodge that one, which means that we're gonna have to have another war later down the line. For now, we're just taking 4 of the states from the Canadians, and the last one eventually will take. It's just gonna look weird, like this little strip of Montana is gonna look like a Canadian peepee within our backside. That being said, we do have really good units, and the British have not actually properly committed to the war from what I'm noticing here. They barely just send like a few units here and there, ragtag team of soldiers, not any real fighting force. And because we have the war goals pretty much under our control already, it means that we will easily win this war. Whoa, Tarhinian Council was formed by Italy. When was Italy formed actually? Because I didn't even realize Italy was a thing up until now. Now, because we did go to war with the British, it also kind of destroyed our economy. So we have to start producing things domestically a lot more and importing stuff from other countries, not be 100% reliant on the British imports. As for the next company we're gonna do, obviously that's gonna be the Virgin Premium Steel, built by virgins that play Vicky 3 in their basement. I'm kidding. That's not what's happening here. Totally. The British do have an insanely huge amount of ships, and they are actually monitor and ironclad, so I'm not sure I'll be able to defeat their units in the sea at least. Wait, what? There's an Irish uprising. No way! Oh, that is so freaking cool. Ireland wants to be an independent nation. Oh, dude, I hope they win that civil war or rebellious war, whatever it's called. I was also forced to go to very high taxation because my economy is really not doing good, courtesy of the British embargo, which is really very efficient apparently. You know what? I'm gonna be building my own silk by having these synthetic plants in Indiana as well as Virginia. My convoys keep going down and down and down because of convoy raiding, but like it makes no sense though. If I don't have convoys, why do I have to go to minus 7,000 convoys so that after the war is over I have to wait until I build all those missing convoys and go on the plus? It's so silly. I don't like the system. I really hope that they actually eventually add physical ships on the map itself that you use to trade. I feel like that would make Historia 3 a much better game in my opinion. Same goes for units. I hope they add actual units on the map. Let's see how our little Schnappeldupe Liberia is doing since they got independence from us. 1.3 million population, doing pretty good actually. They're not doing bad at all. Are they? They're an unrecognized power. I might actually puppet them again afterwards. They have any actual significant alliances? They have one with the Dutch. Why is the Dutch allied to everybody that I want to puppet? That's the real question. And we also got the first transcontinental railway, which means we get for 5 years a ton of migration attraction for some very specific states here. I'm actually going to go for Nevada, Utah, California, and Arizona because this is where I have a lot of gold mines and I do need a lot more migrants in them. And there you have it. Enforce the war goes on the Brits, which is nothing, but we did enforce on the Canadians too. And of course, now we have the little peepee in the sky, namely Canadian Montana. This is disgusting. Oh my god, it cost me 500 to incorporate South Columbia. Oh, so why is it called South Columbia? Fairly sure this should be called Washington, right? Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna be renaming this to Washington. There you go. That's the real name of the state. Now we also can go back to medium taxation. Look how much of a nice guy I am. I'm building a lot of farms for people to actually have food in these lands because the Canadians were not even feeding them. Imagine how horrible it must have been living in that country. No food, free healthcare. I mean, come on. What is that all about? Well, boys, it might be the beginning of the end because we got the trade unions in our government. The Confederate Socialist Associates. That is the weirdest sounding political party I've ever heard. Almost as bad as the Democratic Party. Oh, but I'm wrong. Look at this. We have the Know Nothing Party, which is the What? I cannot believe Paradox actually made a political party called the Know Nothing Evangelicals. What? Now, the trade unions would like to ban a specific legacy law that I actually kind of also want to ban. We've got right now 10 million slaves. Now, these people, instead of just being slaves, they could actually be very, very useful members of our society, become machinists, become shopkeepers, jobs that we really actually need. That is not the jobs I want them to have. So yeah, we memes aside, you need to ban this law because it will collapse your country. Which leads me to the next thing, right? Historically speaking, if the Confederates won the Civil War, I personally think that sure, they would have still had slavery for a while, but inevitably, eventually they would have ousted it for the simple fact that it would not have been economically viable. It's actually better to have free people work for wages and then you charge these free people accommodation, for food, for everything else. So eventually you actually end up winning more, getting more money out of them than you would out of slaves, which you had to give free accommodation for, free food, etc., etc. I genuinely think, especially in the 21st century, that we're pretty bad off, man. It's like a new type of slavery that is imposed on everybody. Imagine you have to work 2 or 3 jobs just to be able to afford renting or paying your mortgage, as well as food and utilities. And that's pretty much it. I mean, I'm not talking about the 5 to 10% of people that are lucky enough to have a decent situation. I'm talking about the majority of us, especially the millennials and the newer generation, the Gen Zs. They really are massively struggling with paying off just basic shit. It's not normal that a house costs so much that you have to take a 35 years loan to pay off. And that's a lucky situation, by the way. Some cases it's a lot more. And then the bank charges so much and they have such dog shit contracts that you inevitably will be unable to pay your loans, and they're going to take your house maybe after 10, 20 years simply because of inflation, reducing your salary, or because of the bank doing some dodgy shit with the contract you sign with them, especially if you have those flexible interest rates where it can be flexibly insanely high and you cannot pay it anymore. Okay? My point is that something needs to change, bro, because right now it is really, really bad, the situation for a lot of people. Not even going too much into this, but like, for example, in my country, in Romania, teachers, my mom's a teacher, right? The increase in salary that they get on a yearly basis is actually significantly lower than the inflation rate. So they're losing money every year technically because the increase doesn't cover the inflation for that particular year. So if you're a new teacher, you don't have a house, you're in your 20s or whatever, good luck with that. People live with their parents up until 30, 40 years old, unfortunately, in my country, because they have no other option. Again, not talking about the 5 to 10% lucky ones. Congratulations. You're not everybody, trust me. You're the exception, and I'm really glad that you made it, because I know some of you watching have made it, and I'm happy for you. I'd say that I'm probably better off than most myself, thanks to you, and I appreciate that. But there's a lot of people that really are struggling out there, and it's not normal. The system has to change, because we should all have an equal opportunity. If you pull your weight and you work your ass, you should be rewarded for that. Not fall into a system where no matter how much you work, you end up just inevitably being more and more in debt and not being able to get yourself out of that. Why am I talking about all of this? What the hell, man? Let's play the freaking game and have fun, right? I mean, we got minus 2,000 bureaucracy. We clearly need more bureaucracy in this country here. I'm curious to see what my cultural map mode looks like right now. Okay, this is actually cool because I didn't expect to see that many Dixie majority areas in the West. Obviously, that's because we don't have Yankee homelands here anymore like we have on the United States path, right? Because then we get the Yankee homelands from the journal entry. Considering this is our primary culture, it has spread mostly everywhere around the country with the exception of the North. The North is still massively Yankee. In fact, I don't see any Dixies in some of these areas at all. Like, look at that. We got Yankees and Greeks. We don't have any Dixies though. In the South, we do have a significant amount of Afro-Americans, which are slowly becoming the majority from what I'm noticing. Cherokee are still primary culture and followed up by North Germans in Oklahoma. So the Indians are also maintaining their sovereignty somehow. Mexicans are getting replaced by Navajo and Apache in the areas we took from Mexico. And apparently Australians are replacing them too, which is a little bit weird. Dakota is still maintaining their autonomy too in their homelands. Because remember, without the Yankee homeland here, this is a Dakota primary area. So that means that they will probably stay Dakota, Sioux, and so on, the native of American cultures in essence. We have some English also in the areas we took from the Canadians, some Anglo-Canadians, and some Bundeli. I'm not sure what Bundeli is, to be honest, though. Like, actually, what is that? Bundeli is... oh, they're Indians! Oh, okay, so that's from the British Raj, in my opinion. Probably migrated to other parts of the Commonwealth. 88% Hindu, that's definitely from the British Raj. Right now, we got 21 million Yankees, 17 million Dixie, 4 million Afro-Americans, 1 million Dakota, 1 million Bundeli, and so on. Okay, so compared to a regular US game, we've got roughly around 50 to 45 Yankee Dixie distribution, I'd say, give or take. So after we passed the slavery ban, we actually got 4 million peasants available for use. That is insane, man. We had 4 million population trapped, unable to use them. That is actually... check this out, check this out. If I was to say build a cannery, right? And I go by job seekers, or better, I go by peasants. Look how many unemployed peasants we have in some of the southern states. 500,000 unemployed peasants now in Arkansas, 500,000 in Alabama, 400,000 Georgia, and so on. It is insane how much potential we were losing by not having these people properly employed and just used as slave labor, which is not the most efficient thing by far. Sure, it's a funny meme and everything to make videos and stuff, but the reality is it's not efficient to have them whatsoever. So should pass that slavery ban ASAP. Also, I'm gonna say it, I'm a little bit surprised by how well the French are doing, dude. Like, the French Empire is almost at same GDP as me, 159, and I'm 173. How is that possible? France is doing super freaking good, bro. Like, they even managed to grab parts of Central Africa and the Congo. They are really, really kicking it. This patch, in my opinion, is by far the most powerful I've seen the French do in most of the games. And also, what the hell is going on here? Ireland, socialist, the Irish are free! The Irish are free! They gained their independence! Okay, I like to think they gained their independence because Britain was at war with me at the time, so they focused on me more than they should have focused on the Irish. Just want to take a little bit of credit for that. And also, super funny how the northern Ulster part of Ireland is breaking away as a socialist revolt. This is the most historical borders of Europe, not taking into account the fact that Germany didn't unify, and the fact that I believe... what is that? A puppet of France? No, it's a puppet of Prussia. Okay. So yeah, not surprised Germany didn't unify again because Paradox has nerfed Prussia into the ground, and it is just sad that I barely see Germany most of my games. If I see him, it's like 1 in 10 games, and that's just really, really lucky. I mean, we freaking have Scandinavia more times than we have Germany. What's up with that, Paradox? It's time for the next war with the British, and guys, I kind of decided this time to be a little bit more aggressive. I'm not only going to take the rest of Montana, but I will be taking the entire western parts of Canada because I just realized that the people there want to be a part of us. That's what they told me. That's the only reason I'm doing this. Now, we do have one little ace up our sleeves. Namely, we've got access to machine guns, which means we're gonna go and win the war. It's also assigned a strategic designated area, which is going to be northwestern territories. And look at the advantage we got. 70 advantage already. We've actually grinded through their troops because of those juicy machine guns that have a tendency of wiping the floor with enemy army. I feel like my biggest issue is that I'm going to struggle quite a lot now to get Alaska from the Russians, I think. Because there's no journal entry for me to get Alaska, is there? Nope, there is none. How strong is the Russians? Let's see. They've got 300 battalions, but what kind of battalions do they have? That's the real question. They even have trench war. Let's check their barracks. They got skirmishers. Oh, I am so attacking Alaska. Hell yeah. Before we do that though, of course, we're going to be incorporating all the newly conquered areas. These are rightful American clay. I mean, Confederate clay, Confederate. Let's check how much it's going to cost us to take Alaska. 5.6 infamy. That is doable, brother. Let's go. This is claimed by the Russian-American company, so once I wipe out the Russian-American company, there's going to be no more claims in the northern parts. Oh, look at that. That's so cute. They want to liberate Oregon. How does Samagadabu? I don't know what there is. That's New York, okay? And New England. Okay, yeah, sure thing. Good luck with that, Russia. Good luck with landing in my area. Now I have control of Alaska. I don't really need to do anything else to win the war, but because I noticed that they don't have any units defending the Siberian holdings and all of their armies in the west, I'm just gonna invade Russia for the memes. Why not? And there you go. We landed without any sort of opposition. By the time the Russian units arrive here, we're gonna have half of Siberia under our control. I am gonna go for the Virginia food production. The only reason I'm doing this is because I really want to get that birth rate. I know we already have 62 million population, and we're getting tons of migrants, but I really want to have even more pops. In the kind words of the great American President Trump, I saw it first, dibs, it's mine. Hey, look, our name is much bigger on the map now. That's pretty much what this game is about, having a big name on the map. Sadly, what is not good to see is a revolution, and half of our country is joining that revolution. No! Okay, we gotta pass laws to prevent this revolution from triggering. I like the fact that as soon as I passed racial segregation, the revolution just stopped. I don't know, man. I feel like deep down inside, Americans are a little bit twisted, if you know what I'm saying. Most countries, you revolt to get better laws. In the US, no. In the US, you revolt for the opposite.
Ludi, shut up and just make more construction sectors, bro. You're not playing efficiently enough, bro. You have 200 million in 1903. I have a billion in 1903.
But are you having fun? That's the real question. Because I'm having fun. I mean, if we're fair over here, we went from just a few ragtag states with 5 million GDP to 200 million. We got 15 standard of living for everyone. We're doing pretty good. We're literally the strongest economy by far. We have the 4th highest amount of population, and we haven't even enslaved half of the planet. Okay, we just slightly got a few South American friends, as I like to call them. That's it. And yeah, it's going good. You know what? I feel like this was a good lesson in recovery more than anything else, right? Because we went from an obviously really strong start as the US to playing as the Confederates and just seeing how brutal it can actually be to just expand at the rate, at half the rate of the US, my opinion even. I'm gonna finish it here, boys, because I got better stuff to do with my time than play video games, clearly. That's why I'm gonna play some EU4 after this, but that's aside from the point, okay? Hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.